the jewelry box. Now you might be asking, why am I discussing a jewelry box in a very brief video about Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung? Imagine, if you will, this morning you woke up, imagine in your mind, and there's a jewelry box you've been working on, making. You went to paint it, and when you did so, you did a terrible job. As this happened, you began to notice that you were starting to feel a little more worse about this, perhaps, than you should have. And what I'm getting to is that's because at the end of the day, you're really not feeling all about the box itself. You're really not feeling all that bad about something that can be sanded and repainted tomorrow. It is linking to another aspect of your inner self, another part of your low self-esteem. Now, in the Freudian camp, Sigmund Freud believed in the three parts of the human mind. The id, or the unconscious, which deals with desires and lust and pleasure. The superego, which deals with critical fitting in and social, surviving, connecting. It's very critical. Then there's the ego, which is in between, which tries to organize and balance the two. Freud believed in life drive, survival, and this is linked again to instant gratification and pleasure, what he referred to as eros, as well as death drive, which is the risk ego. That death drive, that risk ego. Get it before you go. Thanatos. Now, his apprentice, Carl Jung, they were friends for some time. They parted ways, but Jung believed in archetypes and in developed individuation. Yes, there's early influences, of course. Now, a lot, and I'm a big fan of Dr. Gabor Mate, of saying how so many people aren't dealing with childhood trauma properly. So much of everything that happens, addiction, all of that, our self-esteems, our responses and reactions to past trauma. And Freud is huge on this. And a lot of people who are more mystical tend to cast aside Freud. I do not, especially when he talks about those balances between the id, ego, and superego, and instant gratification versus delayed gratification. Those are very, very important to psychological development and to your future development as a person. But here's where Jung and Freud, perhaps, this is my opinion, folks, in my studies, this is where they differ in future effectiveness. Now, Freud believed you can treat these past things and be better developed. Jung believed that tapping into universal archetypes, having a sense of spirituality, having a sense of the collected consciousness, meaning understanding that our issues are so purely mentally natural as to view the negative aspects, such as the low self-esteem, as a guide, as an alarm system. Once again, you could argue that both did, but there seems to be something in Carl Jung's arguments, which I'm more in that camp, that would state that you can truly reinvent and redefine yourself, and using those universal archetypes that we all share, whether it be the hero, the shadow, etc., and through systems and through disciplines, we can reshape the whole thing. We can alter it so that we're not just handling an inherited or developed condition, we're actually transforming from within. That is how I interpret it. And that is why I like Jung's approach better. It's not a coping mechanism for better psychological health. It's a phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm going to quote Miyamoto Musashi, the great samurai swordsman. Quote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday." Unquote. Transformation is possible, not just coping. And sex is not the only thing. It's crucially important, and I agree, again, with Freud on especially the back and forth play of instant versus delayed gratification and how it links to sex and pleasure. Huge, and I agree. However, him thinking sex is the only motivator comes with one dramatic flaw as well. Motivation itself is fleeting. You don't always have it. You're not always linked to sex motivation. There's other factors, including the fact that motivation is fleeting. You're not always on a great day. You're not always motivated. That's why systems and disciplines are so crucially important, because they will have you acting in the right direction whether you're motivated or not. The real transformation happens. The real transformation happens when no one is looking on those quiet, dark days, and when you have miniature failures like the jewelry box. As simple as that sounds, it's in the simple, quiet times is where the true growth happens. The real good, positive results are what others see after you've come out of the dungeon. The quiet place dealt with the shadow. As bad as the system can be, a corrupt world, a corrupt system, you're not fighting the world. You are fighting you. Don't let others tell you what or who you are. It's hard enough to fight yourself. The sacred flame burns within us. Grab a torch and share it on your own terms. This is why I gravitate to the Jungian camp of psychology, because it isn't simply about coping or accepting. It is, as Miyamoto Musashi said, quote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday," unquote. And there are so many others who had similar sympathies. Now, this isn't to say that Freud couldn't have been about transformation. It's just that so many in that camp tend to you're forged only by your past. Aha, that's the difference. You are shaped by that past, but you're also shaped by your systems, disciplines, and focuses, and individuation process to create your new self. Not just your new future, but your true self. It only seems like the new self because now you're acting on its trueness. You see, reduction. Get rid of some things, bring in new things to link with the old thing, which is what you truly were all along. Warrior seed. Meditation is a weapon. Thank you all, and have a great day.